Welcome, and thank you for watching our presentation on parent engagement and the important role of parents in students' education, specifically when it comes to academic standards and assessments. My name is Alexandra Alonso, and I am the program manager at a nonprofit organization in Colorado called Cllaro, or the Colorado Latino Leadership, Advocacy, and Research Organization. We are working in partnership with NCLR, or the National Council of La Raza, to share this information with Latino parents around the state. We've presented this information to parents in schools here in Colorado throughout the last year, but now that the new school year is starting, we decided that there is an opportunity to share this information with parents. So today, we'll be talking about the new standards and assessments, the new report, and guides and other resources to help understand the newest standards and assessments and to help your students succeed. Whenever I get the chance and the opportunity to talk with parents, I always like to ask, what does your student want to be when they grow up? It's possible that they want to be a teacher, an architect, or a computer programmer. And whatever future they hope for themselves, it's likely that at some point they will need to take an exam or a test to obtain a license or just to be prepared for their future career. Even if you have an entrepreneurial student who decides that they want to start a business immediately after graduating high school instead of going to college, there are life skills and knowledge that any person needs to have success in whatever career they choose. That is why I am presenting this information with you today on academic standards and assessments. And there's a great video that I'd like to share made by the Council of Great City Schools that offers a general overview of academic standards to give you an idea of what they are and why Colorado uses them. The video is about 3 minutes long, and I hope you enjoy.
Like it or not, life is full of measuring sticks. How smart we are, how fast we are, how well we can, compete. But up until now, it's been pretty hard to tell how well kids are competing in school and how well they're going to do when they get out of school. We like to think that our education system does that. But when it comes to learning what they really need to be successful after graduation, is a girl in your neighborhood being taught as much as her friend over in the next one? Is a graduating senior in, say, St. Louis as prepared to get a job as the graduate in Shanghai? Well, it turns out the answer to both of these questions is no. Because for years, states have been setting different standards for what students should know and be able to do at each grade level. That's making it too hard to know if our kids are really doing well enough overall, and if they can really compete for a job someday. What we really need are clear goals. That's where the Common Core state standards come in. They're like a total sea change in education. Consistent, strong, clear benchmarks for English language arts and math. Here's how it works. You can think of kindergarten through 12th grade like a giant staircase. Each step is a skill your child needs to learn before stepping up to the next one. But right now, too many kids aren't really confident with 2 + 2 before they have to move on to 2 × 2. We need more focus on the skills that help them move up the stairs, or they can slip up and fall behind. And there's another problem. What if everyone's stairs were made at different heights? Well, here we go again. They are. So, a boy in Seattle who's rocking an A in English literature could be getting a C on his Chicago friend's staircase. Oops. We need to create consistent steps in education, too. So first, each standard creates a landing on the staircase, a stop along the way as your child heads toward high school graduation. Each stop is a chance for every parent and teacher to focus on the skills their students are supposed to know at that step, no matter the zip code, language, or race. And more importantly, each standard makes sure all students are learning what they need to know to get to graduation and beyond. Because something like counting to 100 leads to understanding dollars and cents, which eventually leads to understanding how to manage a budget. Secondly, the standards are consistent from school to school, and they match up against international standards too. Now we know how we're doing compared to just about everyone. So even though local communities will still design their own curriculum, with the same rules, everybody can compete on the same kind of staircase. But standards aren't learning. That's why we need teachers, parents, and students to help make that happen. by working together to help kids meet these standards. The world's getting more and more competitive every day. But now, when our kids get to the top of their staircase, they can have way more options on where their life goes from there. Clear goals, confident, well-prepared students. That's the Common Core State Standards.
So that video is simply a summary of the academic standards, but I like it mostly because it gives a bit of context about how these new standards came about and is just a great introduction. And so we'll continue now with our introduction to academic standards, or the Common Core State Standards and Assessments. So what are the Common Core Standards? They are a state-led effort that includes a single set of education standards in both English language arts and mathematics. They are designed to prepare students for both entry-level credit courses in 2- or 4-year college programs or for work after high school. They are clear and to the point, and they make sure that parents, teachers, and students know what to learn in reading, writing, speaking, and listening, language, and mathematics in schools. And why have them? Why are they important? All students using the new standards are held to the same high standards. And that's important because the standards ensure that students are prepared to succeed after graduation and that they receive a high-quality education along the way. They also help to make sure that schools are responsive to the interests of groups of students who are traditionally underserved. That includes students of color, students with disabilities, or English language learners. They are also aligned with expectations of college and in their career, and students who are learning the new standards will not need remediation after they graduate. This is important because right now, almost 3 out of every 10 Latino students take remediation classes in college, and this results in more time and more money required to achieve their degree. And finally, they are competitive at an international level, and this is what the video actually mentioned as well. So here we have a map of the U.S. that shows the 42 states, D.C., and 4 territories that have adopted the the Common Core State Standards. States voluntarily decide whether or not they will adopt the Common Core State Standards, not the federal government. And Colorado specifically voluntarily adopted them as part of the Colorado Academic Standards in mathematics and reading, writing, and communications back in 2010. So there are some key shifts in English language arts, and those include regular practice with complex texts and their academic language. Reading, writing, and speaking are grounded in evidence from texts, both literary and informational, and building knowledge through content-rich nonfiction. So an example, by 5th grade, a standard would be determining a theme of a story, drama, or poem from details in the text, explaining how characters in a story or drama respond to challenges, comparing and contrasting 2 or more characters, settings, or events in a story or drama, and drawing on specific details in the text. And finally, summarizing the text. So a student in 5th grade would be learning these standards. There are also some key shifts in math, with a greater focus on fewer topics. This means that there's more coherence and linking topics and thinking across grades. And they are also more rigorous. So students will pursue conceptual understanding, procedural skills and fluency, and application with equal intensity. So an example by 8th grade for the standards for math would be to know that there are numbers that are not rational and approximate them by rational numbers. Also, to understand the connections between proportional relationships, lines, and linear equations. And finally, to use functions to model relationships between quantities. So for each of these standards that students learn throughout the year, they will take an assessment to test those new standards. Colorado has replaced the old state assessments with PARCC, the Partnership for Assessment of Readiness for College and Careers. And these new assessments look at skills in communications, teamwork, critical thinking, analytical writing, and problem solving. So students take an English and math test every year from grades 3 through 8, and then later on they'll take the Colorado ACT in high school. In addition to report cards and updates from teachers, the new tests really provide parents with a more honest look at how students are doing and whether or not they are on track to succeed. So in particular, the students will take these PARCC assessments in the spring, and schools and districts will send reports by mail with the results of these assessments in the fall, and that's typically around October. And so what we've shown here is an example of this report so that you know what it looks like. Because what's most important for us is to make sure that parents know how to interpret and understand the content of these reports to really help their students and to feel prepared and empowered when they ask questions to their teachers. So here we have the overall performance, and in this red box we've just shown the first area, which is the overall score. And here we have it enlarged. So the overall score out of 850 is here, and there's also an overall performance level, and that's from 1 through 5. Level 1 means that the student has the greatest need for improvement, and level 5 is the strongest performance. This sort of gives you a quick glimpse to see if your child is on track with grade level expectations. The next section here is a score range, and so they'll show the score range for each performance level, level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And they'll also show your child's score and where it falls within this range. It will show you how close your child is to achieving the next level. And it also gives a comparison to compare your child's performance with students in the same grade at the same school, at the school district level, around the state, and across the states that use PARCC. Finally, there's a score breakdown with 2 subcategories here. Reading is the first and writing is the second. So there will be a numerical score for a selected number of questions here in those categories, and it gives information about your child's performance on specific skills within ELA. You can also see where they excelled or need additional support, and they give descriptions of the skills needed here under each standard to demonstrate clear understanding. For the math score breakdown and performance level, they're a bit different. There aren't any subcategories for math, the math score breakdown, like it shows here. It'll just give you a level. The second page of this report will provide information on the different performance levels specifically. But both of these reports will come at the same time. So what can parents do to help their children be prepared? This is something that's important for us that we talk to parents about, and the first of which is learning about the standards and assessments, which is what you're doing right now by watching this video. You can also actively support language development at home. You can partner with your child's teacher to support his or her success, which we think is very important. And also talk to your child about the standards. Make sure that they understand what they are. And we've compiled a few resources for parents that you'll be able to access as you finish this video and continue on through the survey. But we've listed here a list of online resources, both in English and in Spanish, that are tools and resources for parents to use with their child's development. Be a Learning Hero is one. Great Schools, Great Kids. There's a parent toolkit. Univision has a webpage called Clave al Éxito that's well worth checking out. We've also included some Colorado-specific websites along with a PARCC practice tests link as well. But for now, we're going to focus on this first one, Be a Learning Hero. When you visit the Be a Learning Hero website, this is what the front page looks like. And so I'm going to click through just to open it up so you can see what it looks like. But as the Be a Learning Hero page loads, really what this is a wonderful, rich resource of links to activities that can help your student at each grade level and for each subject. And you can specify it by state. So if you open it here, you can go to state. There's a drop-down menu, click Colorado. You can say that your child is in 3rd grade, for example. Let's see. And that your child is looking for help in math, for example. Let's see if it will stick. We'll try English. So you'll click Get Results, and it will have a list of activities that you can do with your child. There's a reading library. They have tips. They have activities and reading worksheets that you can do at home with your student in whatever subject area you're looking for. You can also say, for example, if you have a child in 5th grade, let's see if math will click here through here. Perfect. So you click Get Results, and it will show you a list of links for math practice tests, activities for creating and using histograms. And so really what these are, they are activities that are specific to your student's grade level and the standards that they're learning in that grade level. And with that, that concludes our presentation. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. You can reach us via email at cllaro@cllaro.org or by calling us at 303-722-5150. And we also ask that you please complete a brief survey to complete the presentation. That's on the next page of the survey. And thank you so much. Have a great day.